I guess it's time to call the meeting to order since our third member is here. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting agenda? Second. For vote, say aye. Okay, the next thing is the first action item, water contract for Broad Run Reclamation Facility roof replacement project.
Committee, my name is Nick Vergara. I'm here today to present to you the award of the construction contract for the roof replacement project, which includes the fine screen buildings, membrane filtration building built and our carbon and ultraviolet disinfection building. Okay, so a little overview of the project. So this is our second phase of placements at Broad Run. First phase being the building 70, which is our thickening and debuilding. So that project was completed in 2020. The existing roofing system throughout Broad Run is a TPO or thermoplastic, that kind of a white sheet flat roof membrane over existing cover board and insulation as well. Are about years old and the warranty has expired. The expected life expectancy for a TPO roof is between 10 to 15 years. These three buildings here that we're presenting on today all have failed in one way or the other. Membrane has delaminated or come off of the existing substrate, the cover. Also, at building 27, right here, skylight panels have also started showing signs of delamination and started leaking. So the scope of this and remove the existing TPO roof, insulation and cover board to more or less the entire system down to the existing, and then replace it back with new insulation, new cover board, and then a 2-ply by 2 minutes membrane system. This was the same exact same roofing system that was used at building 70, the thickening and dewatering, and then for DCH, our admin building as well, when that roof was replaced in 2018. This type of roofing system has become our new standard for any flat roofs for the project, and to cover our 30-year warranty, we'll be replacing the coping system, the metal as well, and that kind of covers a edge to edge, what the manufacturer calls it. So anything from the roofing coping system flashes up, that is all covered under the warranty. We'll also, like I mentioned as well, be replacing the skylight systems here at our fine screen building as well. Yes. They are. I believe that there is only a 5 or a 10-year warranty on the skylight panels. So those have the warranty on the skylight panels have expired as well.
Like in
2008.
Oh.
So they're original to the original to the plant.
Oh. And so we're gonna replace those, right?
Yeah.
So,
and for the substructure, so there metal framing or 2x4s underneath. So all of that is still in good condition. So all we have to do is remove the existing skylight panels, set the new ones up on the roof level.
so go ahead. One question, please. Sure. So, what's the warranty going to be? Replace these roofs.
I have to double check. Their standard warranty is a 10-year warranty.
Okay, 10-year. Okay, thank you.
I'll double check on that.
Yeah, very important for for us to know. Thanks.
That was the question I was going to ask. On the skylight, the warranty.
Yep.
That's what you're talking about.
Yep. But the roofing, the skylight panel warranty will be independent from the roofing system. So because there is 2 different manufacturers, so Wall is the manufacturer or Structures Unlimited. The skylight panels, it depends on the size, and then Garland is the manufacturer of the roofing system.
Flat roofs problems more than
typically with the TPO roofs, they typically have a lot of problems.
No way of avoiding that.
It boils a lot down on the installation and the contract. And that's part of the reason why we have kind of moved to the Garland system, which covers a 30-year warranty. And that includes, so there will be a 2-year warranty from the contractor that would be performing the additional, that will cover 2 years, and then an additional 28 years would be covered everything. So even if there's a failure from installation, the manufacturer would still be covering that one.
So the manufacturer's not just covering materials, they're covering installation
Installation,
too.
Yep, they back the entire product.
Skylights are.
So there's 3 at the, so at Fine Screen Buildings, there's 3, and then there are 3 membrane building. And then, so sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention there's a rigorous process for an inspection of the system as it's being
Correct.
installed, which Nick's going to get to
Yep.
in the next
We'll get
item, but
into
that factors into the warranty coverage for that period.
To add on the skylights, these aren't decorative skylights. This is how we get equipment in and out of the building for replacements. So they're a required part of the
So-
function of the building.
Thank you for that, because I know skylights have been traditionally.
Yeah.
This is how you pull the fine out of the building.
That's why a lot of times they're no longer done with newer construction, because it's such a challenge to maintain over
Yeah.
time. So.
Yeah. And so for like the fine screen equipment is located right underneath of these 3 skylights. And then at the membrane building, our back pulse and our clean in place system, the chemical tanks are located here as well. So they are critical
Okay,
pieces.
so it's functional, not.
Functional, serve a purpose. Yep. So continuing with some of the scope of the work, so we'll also be replacing a metal stair system up on the carbon building, and then in replacing the handrail system, which is currently attached to carpet walls. And then as part of this, the existing lightning protection system needs to be removed, and we'll be replacing a new lightning protection system. So this project was advertised this year, and then bids were opened in February. Contracting was the low bidder. We went through our standard bid and review process for vetting for responsiveness and responsibility, and found that this contractor met all criteria. Loud and Water has not specifically worked with Northeast. I'm highly recommended. They completed projects for the town of Leesburg, as well as with the same roofing system, as well as in Prince William County for several schools, as well as in Arlington County as well.
And I just want to point out, this is just another case where we got great bids in. So we were well below engineer's estimate and got a good price for the work.
And it shows the economy of scale with having 3 roofs being bid. Contractors were able to get a little bit more competitive based on the scope of the project as well.
Do you anticipate any problems with getting supplies?
No.
No holdup?
No hold up. We've checked with the manufacturer throughout the design phase on roofing materials. Insulation was during the pandemic was a little bit of an issue. But since and over the past year, things have kind of come back more in line with deliveries. So the schedule for this project, we are anticipated to start construction in early part of next year, or next quarter. Apologies. And then construction would be continuing through the remainder of the year. There's 180 calendar day contractor.
Thank you. Are we anticipating any constraints?
The only
Project
constraint that we have
constraints.
placed on the scope, building 27 will be going first, but the contractor has indicated that they will be performing multiple buildings at a time.
And why is building 20?
It's smallest in scope,
Okay.
and we had a couple of recent storms where water has infiltrated, and so
Okay.
the roof is right above our electrical room. inside of building 27. And so we want to make sure that we protect our electrical equipment at all
Okay,
costs.
so it's a okay, all right, very good.
Okay, so this project was forecasted in our 10-year CIP. I'd run 33. As you can see, we had a budget, and that is for additional roofs as well. The budget for 3 roofs that we are presenting today, $2.6 million. And then future budget for the for the remainder for the delta between the 600K for the 2023 budget. Costs that will be pulled up as well. And we will be monitoring our budget throughout the year and rebalancing as we need.
What is that figure, that 600K?
That was what was included in the 2023 CIP.
Oh, okay.
So when we laid out
So-
the 2023 CIP, we included 1 roof in that budget, but we went ahead and bid out all 3, hoping that we got a good price with more than 1 roof in there. We were nervous, right? We had seen high bids come in, so we structured the bid so that if it came in high, we would prioritize roof 27, and that's the 600, move forward with that and get the lead. Get a better bid later on the other 2. At such a good price, we thought this makes sense. Forward that CIP and go ahead and get all 3 and get it taken care of with the good bid that we got.
Thank you, Kendra. So before you, I have a recommended motion for the award of the contract to Northeast Contracting Corporation.
I would move that we move the recommended motion and put it on the consent agenda for the board. Do we have to read the entire thing? Okay.
Been here 3 years, I think. I move the board approve award of the Broadrun water reclamation facility, Fine Screen Building 27, membrane filtration building 32, and carbon and ultraviolet disinfection building 40 project to Northeast Contracting Corporation for 1,876.
1 million.
1 million. Thank you. With an approximate 5% contingency to be controlled by the general manager for a total authorized budget of 1,971,000. Addition will require board approval.
Everybody say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay.
One other, the 2023 budget address the roof that you were dealing with, the electrical,
Yes, that
was the Okay.
first building.
where there was.
And as Kendra mentioned,
Mhm.
in case we did not bid pricing, we had a budget for 27, and that would have been addressed, and then we had to look at it. Since the project was bid out as all 3, and rates for our bids. That's okay.
You know, and I worked at WSSC many years ago. They had a fire in the finished water pumping station that was shut down. And at a particular the project, my assignment was to replace the roof. Bids were out. You went down to a contractor, said, I want it, give me a good price, and off we went. No bidding, because it was an emergency, but
Yeah.
okay, next item, approval of construction phase services task order for the Broad Run Reclamation Facility Roof Replacement Project.
Morning again. So I'm here to present on the approval of the Construction Administration Services task order for. So just a reminder on some of the goals that we have with our CA task orders. So it is to make sure the project manager is being supported throughout construction, and then ensuring a huge focus will be on the quality and contract compliance as well for this task order. Leveraging the consultant's experience since they have worked design phase, they've become very intimate and knowledgeable of the existing system and the existing conditions and the design as well. Help to reduce our liability and as our exposure to any delays, claims, and performance. Scope of this order includes, as you see on the screen, one thing I would like to point out, we will be having third-party inspections through our consultant, through a sub-consultant to our consultant as well.
You say it again?
We are going to be having a sub-consultant to our consultant.
Yes,
Yep.
subcontractor.
So, yeah,
Okay.
so more or less a subcontractor.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so before you see the scope and level of effort. So we'll be performing, they in our schedule and submittal review, these helping out with some change management and then close out and general project management as well. But then there is that subcontract consultant, which is ETC or engineering technical consultants, which would be performing inspections to help kind of ensure the quality and water tightness of that of our new roofing. Just to point out, they are a large portion quarter. Looking at historical metrics from when we had replaced the DCH roof as well as the thickening dewatering roof, their costs fall right in line as far as overall task order from those historical projects. ETC has worked on those two projects as well, and they also have worked with Northeast projects outside of Loudwater.
That just if it represents 7.8% of the construction cost, what does that mean?
So the $140,300,
Oh,
7.5%.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I would just,
Just curious. What kind of testing goes into?
They do
Don't
thickness
spray
test,
water on it.
mill thickness testing, adhesive for the top layer. There's enough adhesive so that way there ensures a good bond as well. And then looking at corners where material is up and onto walls, termination, so that's all properly installed and to ensure a watertight facility.
So you really don't.
No until the rain is one indication, but there is also some holiday testing that is performed as well.
That's the point of the third-party inspection. These
it's
guys
to-
look at this roofing system day in, day out, so they know what it should look like, what to look for. If we just had our standard engineer do the inspection, they might have seen a roof or two, but these guys know how to find those things because they inspect this system all the time.
Yep, and they've worked with the Garland system before, so they know the ins and outs, all the little details and nuances.
It's really our belt
Our-
and suspenders to
Yep.
ensure that these roofs last.
in the warranty.
And the
coverage.
warrant.
And is that the typical process that the third-party inspectors falls under the same contract as the individual doing the work? That's
Mhm.
typically.
Yeah, 'cause
And we
My
hit it
experience-
under that black box there, but we've done this for 2 other buildings. So
yeah.
we did it for this big DCH and we did
Yeah.
it the same way and 70 as well. So we've had good success.
So we've had
Oh,
very good success with.
Yeah. So there's a delivery. Have that
Oh.
third party sit on another contract, do influence.
Gotcha.
To the same subcontract.
So, yeah, so in this case, it's the third thing or inspections is with our consultant. It's not with the contractor.
Okay.
So that's where, I think influence because you have the contractor saying, yes, make sure. Whereas now the consultants are working for us at the end of the day.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha. But it's under the same contract, but it's in. That's what I'm understanding.
Yes, you could think of that firm as like a.
Okay.
Yeah.
like on the Broad Run expansion project, we have a specialty consultant doing concrete testing and, structural inspections and things like that, which are reserved for a specialty company rather than the engineer providing the
Okay.
CA services. So
Thank you.
you could see it as a, yeah.
Thank you.
And I would offer to elaborate just a bit. This is a 6-month contract duration in its entirety, and this third-party inspection service is pretty much daily throughout the contract duration while
Yep.
they're over there. You know, this
Yep.
firm is day making sure these seams are going together properly, the curves and the coping and all of that's done properly. So
So to elaborate on what I'm saying, about 4 days a week is anticipated, and they'll be here between 4 to 6 hours a day.
Assume if you ran into trouble after the is over, those are the guys you'd call back to take a look at. I think.
If there's an issue, if we do have a leak, we'll have to address, obviously, we'll be having the manufacturer out here immediately to take a look and start the warranty process, but we'll probably be engaging ETC learned, or, if they had recalled, and we should hopefully, luckily at DCA, buildings haven't not had any leaks since installation. So reiterate the project schedule. So this is a 6-month duration. So it is a timeline. But the goal end of the year. Okay. Our recommended motion.
Recommend that we put this on the consent agenda. Anybody want to read the
I'll take the turn this time.
I was looking at her, but okay.
All right. I move the board approve a task order for construction administration services for water reclamation, facility roof replacements, fine screen building, membrane filtration building, and carbon and building 4050 project to Corolla Engineers Incorporated for $140,300 with an approximate 5% contingency to be controlled by the general manager. Budget of $147,400. Required board approval.
Okay, for a vote. Aye. The next is the capital spending summary report by Tom.
Good morning. So I'm going to go through quickly spending report through February. Michael, can you enlarge and just bring the table up? I think that'll probably be most helpful. And if we bottom of the table down where the totals are, and you can see for the current period that the projection was a little over 10 million. Spending through goals are $1 million. So there's about a $4 million discrepancy there between the actuals what was projected. Look up into the that sort of delta is you can see that in the Broad Run WRF program, the projection was about 2.4 million for spending through February, and we're just below about $100,000 in actual. So that's about 2.3 or so million of that 4 million. And then the other, if you look in the finance program, there we're showing a projection of about 6 million through February, and the actuals are at about 4. So there's about a 1.5 million to both of those to explain to you where the delta is. So let's jump back up into the Broad Run program. So within the CA or the capital spending, several projects in the Broad Run category, but the most notable one and has the large amount of dollars in it is the construction that's ongoing for the current expansion at Broad Run. And the projection of 2.4 was mostly influenced by where we thought and really what happened was the contractor was a little bit behind in getting their invoice in for the work that they did in January that we would pay in February. And so the actually got paid just a little bit behind schedule. It got paid on March 2nd rather than in the month of February. And that invoice was for a little bit over, I think it was just about $2.5 million worth of work that they did. So because the invoice was in a little late, that money didn't get into the month of February. It got paid on March 2nd. And when we see the report for next month, you'll see that that money will be paid out. So run is actually a little bit ahead of the $2.4 million in February because of that coming in a little late from the contractor.
So that one, this is just real common for construction, right? So
Sure.
that's going to go on. And then at the end of the year, we end up getting 2 invoices in really quick and it like fully catches
Sure.
up. So this will be like a repeated thing for broadband.
Yeah, and it's also more noticeable early in the year because if the total spending so far at this point in the year was projected to be at 35 million and we were in July and the number was actually $30 million in, had been behind, it wouldn't be quite as significant in the total spending. But here, because the $500,000 is a big portion of just what the $10 million projection is, that's why it's more noticeable here. So that makes up about 2.5 million or accounts for 5 million of that $4 million deficit that we see in the actuals and projections. And in the other category, finance, we had like a clerical error within our system for the debt. We actually paid a $1.6 million debt payment, and our system, our record system here was showing 100 and corrected in the system as well. So read just about 5 million, I'm sorry, just about 6 million, or 1.5 on top of that, again, just because there was a clerical error in the system. That 2.4 and the 1.5 make up that $4 million difference between the actuals and the projection. So a clerical error and then just a little bit behind on the invoice.
Somebody put the wrong number in, or?
I think it was a calculation in the system, maybe perhaps, that had to be adjusted.
We have a calculation that we do because 98% of the projects we pull from SAP, but the way our debt service work, they aren't actually tied to W projects such as Broad Run. We have to manually calculate our debt service payments, and so we pulled from the wrong cell in February, and so made just the cell that we calculated was incorrect, and so
Maybe you should go back to slide rules or.
I've never used a slide rule, Marty. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to take them, but.
Anybody else have questions? No.
You're welcome.
Mr. Sultan, just wanted to confirm that both of items on the action items, I don't
Right.
think we specified on the first one.
Yeah, we did.
We did,
You did,
okay.
but both should go to consent.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think the committee. I guess we need a vote to, anything else anybody wants to bring up? Vote to adjourn. All in favor? All right. Thank you, everybody.